G'day Grit Nation, Brant, Garvey here, and welcome to the episode that was supposed to happen on Monday, but we had technical difficulties. So now we're coming on site here with Darren Lomman, who has the company or the non-profit Green Batch, which is focused around making sure that there is more fish in the ocean than plastic by 2050. Just take a moment, Darren. Let's introduce you and what you're about and why we're sitting down here in Perth City surrounded in a bunch of plastic.
Well, rain, hail or shine, we are generating this plastic every single day. I heard an advert a while ago that said by 2050 there's going to be more plastic in our ocean than fish. And just stop to think about that for a second. More plastic than fish. Our oceans are really bloody big.
It's ridiculous.
There's a lot of fish,
yep.
But there's going to be even more plastic. So our fish are going to be swimming around in this sort of stuff very, very soon. So this is just a sample of what our oceans can look like very, very soon.
And I mean, it is already quite drastic how much plastic is currently in our oceans at this point, let alone what it's going to get to by then.
Do you know what? Every second, 1,500 bottles get poured into our landfills or our oceans. Every second. So in 10 seconds, that's 15,000 bottles.
It's
and
just
to give you an idea
ridiculous.
how much that is, because that's hard to fathom, every hour, if we were to collect those bottles up, it's enough to fill up 240 Transperth buses. So imagine a convoy, 240 buses long, rocking up to Cottesloe Beach and pouring their contents of plastic out in the ocean. Every hour, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, forever, ongoing. Like, that is what we're doing to our planet right now.
It's just crazy. And Darren, rather than being someone that sees an issue, he also is a doer. He saw the problem and he wanted to find a solution. How did you stumble across that?
Well, it was actually by accident, because when I heard about this, I thought, well, WA is such a beautiful city. We're really fortunate to live in one of the most beautiful places in the world. You look at our beaches, they are amazing. You don't see plastic everywhere. You come down to the Perth City Mall and there's not, other than right here, right now,
other than what we've set up.
Plastic everywhere. And so I was like, what's WA doing that's so great compared to the rest of the world? What can the rest of the world learn from us? I've been recycling since I was a kid. You've been recycling?
Yes, I have.
Majority of population. So I started trying to find out what we were doing. I started researching it and I couldn't find anyone that was actually doing the reprocessing. There was plenty of people collecting the rubbish and sorting it, but there was no one reprocessing. So I went out to the recycling facilities and asked them, what are you doing when you collect this? Where do you send it to? And they could not give me a single name or address of a business in WA that actually does any reprocessing.
You couldn't find a straight answer, and so then you actually discovered that a lot of it gets sold to be burnt. Is that correct?
Yeah, so when they collect all the stuff from our recycling bins, they sort it and then it's handed on to another party who basically then sells it.
Yep.
And they will sell it to anyone that will buy it.
As a money-making thing.
As a money-making thing, like we're lucky, we don't go and dump it in our oceans.
Yep.
And it's a commercial thing. These companies are designed to make money. Now, dumping it in landfill actually costs them money because there's landfill levies. So they don't want to do that.
Yep.
Dumping in oceans, well, that's free, but they don't make money, and there's a lot of opposition to that. So it just gets sold to whoever will buy it. The only people that will buy it, there's two categories of people that will buy it. There's those reprocessors that actually genuinely recycle it.
Yep.
And then there's the waste incinerators.
Okay.
Now, globally, 1 to 2% of our plastic actually gets reprocessed.
1 to 2%.
Other than 98%,
ridiculous.
Oceans, landfills, or waste incinerators.
Yep.
So we've got 1,000 bottles here, 980 of them, just purely by basic statistics, is not going to be recycled.
Yeah, I mean, that just shows, and this is such a small sample, and most of it's going to end up as pollution. Now, what's so important about this week and why we're set up here? I'll give you a full shot of where we're at. We're in the middle of Perth in Forest,
Street Mall, Forest Place.
Why are we here? Why are we here today?
Well, a couple of things. This week is actually Recycling Week.
Okay, so very relevant.
Very relevant to what we're doing. Supposedly celebrating Recycling Week.
What we do in Western Australia.
I haven't heard too much about it. I don't think there's anyone bragging about our zero reprocessing.
Yep.
Other than us sitting here right now on our own, those crazy lone nuts. But it's also, over the last month, we launched a crowdfunding campaign to set up WA's first reprocessing plant.
Okay.
We've had an amazing response from the public. We've raised over $60,000 in just under a month.
$60,000 in under a month. That is absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, put it in the file.
What's one more? Thanks for that. So
getting some local support.
Just what we need, more plastic. So that first 50,000 has helped us to set up this program. We can now roll out into 50 schools across WA to start that collection.
Okay.
Our pilot schools we're running this out with.
Thank you.
And then we continued the crowdfunding. We got a further $8,000, which has helped us get a machine that actually helps us using air can separate these labels from the bottles. You look at all these labels, a lot of labour.
Yep, a lot of manual labour.
Moving them by hand. So we've now got the funds to buy a machine. And then 2 nights ago, we hit that target. So we released the next target, which if we have a look at here, these bottles have labels, but we've also got lids and these little lid rings. Now, if we have to remove hundreds of thousands of those, that's a lot of work, but we can actually remove them using water.
Yep.
When we shred it down, get all these little particles, the lids and the lid rings float in water, the PET sinks down.
Yep.
So that machine is $5,000. We're up to 60, so we now got $3,000 left. I think it's 2.5 last time I looked.
Yep.
So $2,500 and we can get that machine.
Okay.
The campaign closes at 9 p.m. tonight. That is the deadline. We've got, what, 9 hours left to do this.
9 hours to get how much?
To get $2,500 from all of WA. It's hardly anything.
9 hours to get the next part, guys. Like I said, Darren sees problems, like labels, finds a solution, like the lids, finds a solution and how to separate them. And he wants to do this and implement it at scale. He wants to have them in schools, so people collecting them in schools and having these systems in the schools to be able to repurpose it, to use it for.
Yeah, well, that's the first product we're making out of this PET is actually 3D printer filament. Now, 3D printer filament is the consumable that goes into a 3D printer. And by doing that, it means when the kids are actually printing stuff on their 3D printers in their schools, they're actually printing out of recycled bottles. Whereas at the moment, they're just buying more virgin plastic and adding to this. So we want to flip that around and actually get them working with us and solving this and consuming this stuff rather than adding to it, which is really
consuming this to be able to make more amazing things that can be used to help the world rather than hinder it.
Absolutely. So we're, after the support we've got from WA, we are multiple steps closer. It's happening. We're going to keep fighting for this. Whether it rains or not, we're going to pursue and make this happen, because whether it's raining or not, people are still buying water bottles. And we can talk, yes, we want people to reduce the amount of plastic they use.
Yes.
But it's not just water bottles. You have a look at this mix here. We've got this fruit and veg tray. This probably had some sort of veggies in there.
Yep.
We've got our frozen dinner trays. So this is PET plastic.
Yep.
There's your bakery stuff at your supermarket. There is literally thousands of products. There's some window cleaner there. There's all sorts of stuff. So plastic is not going away anytime soon. The businesses behind it, it's cheaper for Coca-Cola to send plastic than glass. Unfortunately, that's a huge momentum to change that and ban plastic across the whole. So yes, we want to address how much we're using plastic, but in the meantime, we have to be reprocessing the stuff we're doing and using right now. To me, I think it's absolutely unacceptable that we, as a wealthy, good state of West Australia, just offload our rubbish to people like China and make it their problem. I think that's a cop-out.
Which is burning it and then making it our problem globally anyway.
Exactly.
So, I mean, like I said, guys, it's a fantastic initiative to help reduce the amount of plastic that gets left around the world, to be able to repurpose it to help kids make amazing things. Darren has taken it on himself. He's managed to get some massive support. Like we said, the crowdfunding campaign finishes tonight.
9 p.m.
9 p.m.
9 hours.
We're $2.5 shy, was that right?
Correct,
$2.5 shy of hitting the next target to be able to separate the lids and the little ring across the top of the bottle. Fantastic. Please share this with everyone. Get behind Darren and his green batch cause, and let's reduce the amount of unrecycled plastic in Western Australia. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your time, Darren.
Thank you for coming and joining me in this pile of plastic. And I hope that very, very soon We'll just have some 3D printer filming instead
Exactly.
of this, hey? We'll have to do another take.
And we've managed to get a few people to support us just locally here in Forest Place in the city of Perth. Until next time, guys, I'll see you then.